There are three ways to define schema in PySpark in Databricks. The first way is to do what's called inferring schema. So if you look at my code up here, you'll see that I'm building data, right, object here. And it's got a string and an integer, and then I just create the data frame with that data variable, and I say, here are the names of the columns, name and age. And when I allow it to infer schema, it does it correctly. It says name is a string and age is a long. But we kind of got lucky. If this were a CSV with millions of records, it would sample the first few records, and if there were any other records that didn't obey the schema data type that it defined earlier, it would break, right? So typically inferring schema is considered a bad practice, so we should never do that. So there's another way to do it, right? And this is to use the struct type. And if you read a lot of particularly older PySpark documentation, they'll tell you to use the struct fields here, like name, string type, integer type. You're being very deliberate when you define schema. And if we run this code, you'll see it's the same code, except we define the schema. Now we have schema equals schema. We print the schema, and it's the same, right? Name is string and age is integer. But it's hard to read, and if we have a CSV with like hundreds of columns here, this is not easy to read. So my preferred way of defining schema is to use what's called the DDL. So DDL is a syntax that we've had since old school SQL. We've had it for 30 years. And what we're saying is there's a column and a data type, and this is like a SQL standard data type. There's an age and a data type like int. Define our data the way before, create the data frame, schema equals schema, defined up here, and then print the schema, and you can see that it gets it right. And what we prefer about this way is that it's terser. It's easier to read, and if you have a lot of columns, it's just easier to scan and know what everything is and that you did everything correctly. Easier to edit. So 3 ways to define schema, but typically we prefer to use the last way. Not really any good reason to use the first 2 ways. Anyway, hopefully that helps you. Thanks. Have a great day.